Welcome, everyone. It's RyFry, Taylor Worre. We're back at it. Part 4. Boom. Guys, it's coming at you. I'm excited about this particular topic, Taylor, because there's so much to this.
Yeah.
And this might get a little raw. It's going to get really authentic because I've got some questions for you.
Yeah.
And I want to talk first about A&MP.
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean? What is that? You just got back from there.
Yeah. A&MP stands for the Association of Network Marketing Professionals. A&MP, the president of the A&MP is Garrett McGrath. Amazing individual. Him and his wife, Sylvia, they are incredible. They run it along with the board of directors. But the Association of Network Marketing Professionals is a nonprofit association that basically comes together. They came together back in 2003. Their main purpose back in 2003 was really to be fighters. There's a lot of people in the late 90s and the early 2000s that were getting beaten up.
Right.
By network marketing skeptics and haters.
Okay.
They were getting beaten up a lot. So the A&MP was originally founded with the intent of we're going to go to bat for those that don't have a voice for themselves.
Love it.
In 2013-14, when Garrett McGrath became the president of the association, he used he's an unbelievably wise individual, built huge organizations in the network marketing profession, but he was able to come in and flip the script a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
My father always talks about different phases of life, being a poser, a taker, a faker, and then you're a fighter, and then you go into a giver, and then a giver with purpose. And so I think that Garrett truly stepped out of that fighter mentality and stepped into the giver and giver with a purpose mentality. This last event, there was over 60 speakers.
Wow.
I consider it, what I said from stage is it truly is for me the TED Talks of network marketing.
So was that a 2-day event, 3-day event?
3.5-day event. And so, but they have, every speaker gets the same amount of time, 18 minutes. It doesn't matter if you've made, we had Jeff Roberti speaking, who's made $100 million in commissions. We had, and then myself, who's, on the corporate side. You've got all these people from different backgrounds delivering information. But I was honored to be asked to open that event this year and speak in the opening. And so it was a very humbling experience because, like we've talked about, this is all I've ever known. But for me, it's very important that I've been able to create a name and a brand for myself within this profession, separate.
Love that.
While loving my father's brand, but separate from his brand.
Good for you.
So it's this fine line we always fight between edifying, because I edify him to death. I respect the last name I was blessed with every single day.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, I think that there's a lot of value that down the road I'm going to be able to bring that, not to say my father couldn't bring, but it's just a fresh perspective. And so.
Well, on that, and I mean, this is my take on that because I've been around you now, and obviously everyone knows your father, and he's a tremendous asset to anyone in network marketing. But the way that I look at it is, man, you've got some talents and some gifts that your dad wishes he had. I mean, honestly, I think that's important because what that says to me, Taylor, is I'm curious about what's your footprint and fingerprint on this industry as well as LifeVantage as a professional.
My footprint is going to be to really, in the last 10 years, my footprint has just been to be an asset. It really has been in every single way that I could be, from a distributor at 18 to corporate, being a director of events, providing value there. I was on the production side, worked to create all the A Better Way videos, worked with the team that shot the Rise of the Entrepreneur documentary. Wow. Was able to go around the whole world interviewing the top 1% and hearing about their successes, helping them share their stories. And then before I came to LifeVantage, I was the international director of communications for an incredible network marketing company, where I was the face of their company for a year. And so my footprint is always to be delivering and the giver of transparent and authentic material.
Yeah.
One thing that anyone that knows me knows that I don't beat around the bush. I'm never going to sugarcoat things for you. And I'm just going to tell you how it is because I want to save you the time of if I give you sugar-coated answers, you're going to go get sugar-coated results.
Right.
I'd rather give you the brass tacks answers so you can go get real results. You can go get things actually moving.
That's a gift.
Some momentum.
Yeah.
So my footprint really comes in the way of just wanting to be a giver. Like I said, I've spent most of my life surrounded by the top of this entire profession, not just this profession, but most of the top of the world, being able to sit down with Richard Branson, Tony Robbins, Pitbull, you love Pitbull,
yes.
Pitbull, but an inspirational dude, to hear, to be a fly on some of these walls, to be able to, remember what it was like to sit down with Jim Rome at 6 years old, to have Les Brown kneel down and tell me that he saw greatness inside of me. All these things, my whole life is really stacked up to this moment where I'm at now with LifeVantage, where I feel like I have so many things to give.
Yeah.
You know, so much. And it's not in an egotistical way in any way. It's more like a philanthropic way. Like I've been given a semi full of food in a third world country, and all I want to do is just go give it to everybody. I just want to go deliver this information to the best of my ability so that people can get value from it. My father always talks about time machines, and this is one going into ANMP. I think that it's so important for people to be at events because, like the ANMP, events are where defining moments happen. Yeah, that is where their lives truly change are at events. Momentum is created at events. Big things happen at events. But one of the things that I talked about in opening my speech was how, in my opinion, it is the best time out of the last 100 years to be looking at the network marketing profession. And so I dove into that a little bit because everyone says that right now. And I don't like when people just say something and then I ask them, how do you know that? And they say, well, it's just what everyone else is saying.
Right.
So I went and did a deep dive and looked at the numbers. And that's what I presented to the ANMP is I sat down and I said, okay, so you're telling me that more people than ever are looking at the network marketing or an entrepreneurial-based opportunity? Let's look at it. Let's deep dive in the numbers.
You got through it.
So I got the numbers, and we found that the baby boomers, starting with the baby boomers, 72 to 54, there's 83.1 million baby boomers on the planet right now, and 7% of those are interested in an entrepreneurial-based opportunity. It works out to about 5.8 million people, which is a huge number of people, but it was a great note for people to put in your head. If that is your main demographic of people that you're speaking to, expect about 7% of them to be interested in your entrepreneurial-based opportunity. Right. The other 93 were raised in a time where that just wasn't how they do things, and they're at a point in their life where they're not willing to change. Right. It's totally cool. Right. So I went down, I looked at the Gen Xers right after that, 53 down to like 39 or whatever it might be. And there's almost 20 million less, 65.1 million Gen Xers on the planet right now. But there is double the percentage. So 14 to 15% interested in an entrepreneurial-based opportunity. So I was like, the numbers are going in the right direction. That works out to 9.8 million people between 53 and 39. And so I was like, okay, the numbers are going in the right direction. Even with 15, 20 million less people, there's more people in that age bracket than the one before. And so then I looked at the millennials, those Gen Ys. I think that, a lot of people a few years back were talking about how lazy millennials are, how entitled they're. I just personally choose to believe, because I am one, that we as millennials are tenacious. We are very entrepreneurial driven, and we are very much not wanting to do the 40-40-40 plan. That is not what we're looking for. And so when I looked at the millennials, what I found is that we are now the biggest generation in the United States at 83.2 million people between the ages of, I believe it's 20 and 38. So we are the biggest generation of entrepreneurs out there, with 35% of millennials interested in an entrepreneurial-based opportunity. Works out to just over 29 million people in the United States. And so I broke down those numbers, and after seeing the numbers, the math is right. It is true. More people than ever are looking at what we have, and a lot of that, what I talked about, our CEO, Darren Jensen, talks about this a lot, but the gig economy. I believe that the gig economy is a giant reason for why we have seen this insurgence of entrepreneurs. Because companies like Uber, Airbnb, Amazon have opened up the door for people to be able to create a $500 to $1,000 a month side hustle. Right. The only thing, like I said in my speech, the only difference, the only thing that they don't have that we have that makes us better than all of them combined is leverage. And so it's what we need to do going forward to find success in our profession. Number one, what I talked about is customers are key. Going forward, we need to back in the 90s, it was the 50-50 rule of 50% customers, 50% distributors. I think for our profession to find long-term success, we're going to need to see that number rise to 70, 80, 90% customer base and 10, 20, 30% distributor base. That's what I think needs to happen. The DSA says, or I should say first, that I always say that a reluctant or a happy customer is 10 times better than a reluctant distributor. Right. And the DSA tells us through statistics that 66% of all distributors were first at one time a customer. Right. And so let's get happy customers into our business. Let's set that. The second thing that was big besides customers that we talked about is setting proper expectations. In our business, it is our number one flaw. It is our number one faux pas, our number one mistake that we as professionals make every single day. Setting over expectations, unrealistic expectations on our business and what the reality is. Because if we can tone those back, and if we can make our opportunities exciting and game-like, with our app, that we've got now. The LifeVantage app is amazing, but it's just like, I mean, you go through and fill out some of these cards, you have customers sent to you if you're on a platinum pack. I mean, it's just like Uber. It's like if you go on Uber and fill out a couple things, you can go get into a car and go drive and pick someone up, and within tomorrow I could be driving.
Right.
You know, how exciting to know that if you get on our app and you play around a little bit, do some of the income producing activities, follow some of those decks, that a customer will be given to you for your hard work and your efforts. What a blessing.
Yeah.
And so I think that going forward, you know, the A&MP, I always say events are where, like I said, leaders are born. But if you want to continue to grow within this profession, personal development is a key. And I think that the best places that you can get personal development are going to be at generic events. My father's events is amazing. The A&MP is incredible. Tony Robbins events, Les Brown events, Gary Vaynerchuk events. I mean, Ty Lopez. There's a million people now that you can go see and talk to. But when you stop learning, when you stop growing, you're dying. And so I always tell myself every day, if I don't feel like I learned something new, then I go find a book, I go find an article, I go find something. I make sure that every day is filled with some type of new knowledge, new education, and that allows me to keep moving, because you got to keep moving.
Love it, man.
Yeah.
Love it. That one thing with Taylor, it's always coming at you. It's always raw. It's always authentic. And I love what he's talking about. I remember getting at an event, there was the 3 deadliest words to anyone. I know that.
Yep.
And when you get rid of that mentality and that mindset and just are a sponge of learning, because I always thought fellowship precedes leadership. And that's exactly what we're doing. And so that's where you're finding A&MP. You got great speakers, the 1% of the 1% that are up there giving you these pearls of wisdom. Congratulations,
It was an honor.
What an honor. Open that thing up.
Open it up. You know, I mean, like I said, with legends like Larry Thompson, 50 years in the profession.
Wow.
Gave most of you what you have as far as training materials came from Larry Thompson 50, 60, 70 years ago. I mean, the guy's a genius. Jeff Roberti, like I said. I mean, Matt Morris. You've got every one of the top 1%ers from around the profession shows up there. But like I said, the great thing about it is each one of those speakers only has 18 minutes. There's no favoritism. It's like TED Talks. You just get your message and you get out. And
Boom,
so it was fun, and I look forward to speaking and hopefully a lot more.
Well, thanks for representing LifeVantage
My pleasure.
At the A&MP. And guys, that one thing with Taylor, we're going to do one more, part 5 is coming at you. Thank you.